Hey y'all. Good evening. Welcome to the Tea Factory podcast. Um, Today we are going to be talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac, season 10, episode 6. So we're on episode 6 and housekeeping. Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 says there is allowance for fair use of copyrighted material for such purposes as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research as examples of activities that may qualify as fair use. So this episode starts off, they pretty much most of them start off where the other one leaves off, right? So they're still at the restaurant um, where they were eating. So picks up there, and Giselle gives the girls shot glasses. So the shot glasses with the drinks in them have like a shady tagline, right? So um, for Stacy, she leaves her shot glass blank again, just like she did her robe, makeup bag, and she didn't write her a note. So the shot glass for Stacy was blank again. So she's being shady and mean towards Stacy still, because her thing is she doesn't know Stacy. She doesn't know who the real Stacy is. You know, pretty much saying, "Will the real Stacy please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up." That's what Giselle's saying, because she's saying she doesn't know who the real Stacy is. Um, so then she gives one to Kay. She gives one to everybody, but I'm just highlighting Kay and Stacy. Then she gave one to Kay, and then on Kay's shot glass, she said that she called it that Kay's a Giselle hater. So she put Giselle hater. So everyone's confused, and so Giselle in her confessional, she's telling us that I guess Wendy had told her some things, and she's saying that that Kay was hating on Giselle, um, talking about her behind her back, and Giselle in her confessional kind of seemed a little bit sad and upset about that Kay had some sort of, bad things to say about her behind her back, or that she has a problem with Giselle. And Giselle kind of seemed like, she didn't know that that there was an issue. So then they're showing them they're back in the room, and Stacy and Jossie and Ashley are sitting on the couch talking, and it looks like Stacy again was explaining herself for the millionth time, explaining her relationship with her ex-husband and how they were supposed to get a divorce, or they got a divorce, and that they're back in a relationship again. And I don't understand why Stacy has to constantly have this conversation, constantly having to explain herself or why she and her husband are back together. And then on top of that, she's always having to explain this to Ashley, as if, like, who's Ashley? Like, who died and made her, like, what do they say? Who made her God? So I just don't understand. You know, Ashley, you don't have nothing going on in your life, in your personal life. You don't have anything you could talk about this show. She don't talk about Mike, because Mike probably gave her a cease and desist. He probably told her she couldn't talk about him on the show, her ex-husband, where she got her divorce and got her settlement money. And she doesn't talk about that. She doesn't have anything else going on that's interesting. So she constantly has to attack Stacy. That I feel like that's Ashley's storyline this year, is that she constantly has to attack Stacy to have something to talk about. And I'm over it. It's like, come on. So then they show Ashley on the phone with her mom. She's FaceTiming her mom. Her mom's talking to her about what they're going to do for her son's birthday party. She was saying that he wanted a Beetlejuice theme, and that's the party that they're going to have for him. And then she tells her that she sent a picture to the guy that she's talking to. His name is Josh. And I'm just like, don't, nobody cares. Nobody cares. I certainly don't. I don't care. It was just like a 5 second scene with Ashley on FaceTime with her mom talking about her son's birthday party, what they plan on doing. And then she told her that she sent kind of like not necessarily a trap or thirst picture because it wasn't bad, but that she sent him a picture, and I'm just like, nobody cares. Move along. So next scene is you know, they show them going to this house. It's they show the island. It's just beautiful, beautiful. I love the ocean. I love water. Um, so I'm a water sign, so I just love the water, and the view was beautiful. Um, they get on the yacht, and of course they're in the yacht going um, whatever they were going. I think they were going to the place where they were going to have their lunch or whatever. So they were going from the villa to another part of the island on the yacht, and so of course Giselle being messy and also moving the storyline along, she brings up the issue with Kay. So she's like she talks to Kay about the issue that she has um, because Wendy was sick. So they kept showing us Wendy in her room asleep. Wendy was sick when they were eating. When they were at the restaurant, Wendy wasn't there, so Wendy was sick. So then Giselle says, because Wendy wasn't there, so she brings up the shot glass about Kay being a Giselle hater. Um, so then they start arguing. Giselle and Kay start arguing. Giselle, okay, so I guess Kay, I don't know. To be honest with you, I really don't know what Kay's problem is. But I guess Kay was saying that at the party that was an event for Ashley and Giselle, where Kay had that altercation with that one lady. So Giselle says, at the time when that happened, her father was in the hospital in Atlanta dying from brain cancer. And so, she left that event. She had to jump on a plane. She went to Atlanta. Her father had surgery. He was in ICU. And shortly after that, her father passed away. So Giselle told Kay, all you had to do was call and have, you had to call a plastic surgeon to have, surgery to take care of your situation. But she was like, but I lost my father and my father's not here. And I agree with Giselle. At the end of the day, I feel like, I mean, it's really like you can't really say right or wrong. I want to say, like, okay, Kay was wrong and Giselle was right. That is what I want to say. But at the same time, I'm trying to look things, both ways. Like, try to look at it from each person's perspective and then try to see it from, how you say you have to walk a mile in my shoe to understand. So, first, Giselle had a lot going on. Her father was ill, he was dying, and he ended up passing away. So she had that to deal with. So she wasn't thinking about Kay and her emotional needs and what that issue and that problem caused. And then Kay, on the other side, she was being selfish. She was just being self centered and was only thinking about herself. And then maybe she didn't know that Giselle's father was ill and that Giselle was going through what she was going with her dad. Maybe Kay didn't know that. However, um, I felt like sometimes you have to give people grace because you don't know what they're going through. And then, but I was glad that they were able to get it resolved though, because it seemed like it was more of a misunderstanding. But so then while they're talking about that, Kay said that Wendy had said that Giselle was a snake and that she was the worst person. And I mean, Giselle didn't really look surprised because, Wendy and Giselle didn't like each other for the longest. They did not like each other for the longest. And it's actually good to see them on this season getting along, and not fighting. But normally, you know, they really don't like each other. And so when she said that, Giselle really didn't look shocked because she knows that Wendy probably used to talk shit about her. So then Wendy gets upset. She leaves the table, and Ashley gets up and leaves with her. And then when they left, I think it was Stacy, Wendy, and Ashley. They got up and they left. And then the ones left at the table was Kay, Giselle, Angel, and Tia. So then Tia jumped in trying to be the peacemaker, right? So she jumps in and she tells Giselle, Giselle, I can't even imagine what you went through, what you were going through during that time because I also lost my father. And then, she addressed Kay and what she went through and how that experience affected her. And so basically, what she's telling them, like, y'all both were going through something traumatic, and you guys experienced um, something that no one can take away from y'all. So she was just saying, I wish y'all could resolve y'all issues and squash it and move forward. And I think that's what they did. So I liked how Tia jumped in, took control, tried to be the bigger person, tried to be the peacemaker, and was able to get them to resolve their issues, which I believe that they did. I feel like they need to have a deeper conversation. Like, and they really didn't show us how long they talked, but because they always chop and screw the scenes. But off screen, I do hope that Kay and Giselle do really sit down, have a heart to heart conversation, because at the end of the day, there's really no reason for those two to have beef with each other because I don't think they've done anything to each other. And I think it was just a misunderstanding. So then they're taking pictures in front of this beautiful backdrop of the ocean. Like, again, like I said, I'm a water person, so I appreciate it every time they show the beautiful ocean, the water, the island. And so they sit down to eat, and they're also celebrating Jossie's engagement. So this part of this trip also supposed to be like a bachelorette party for Jossie. Okay, so I think it was Giselle or someone asked Stacy if she was going to be in the wedding because she was supposed to be in the wedding. However, she's not going to be in the wedding because she has some prior engagement, which is her cannabis line that she's launching. And she's talking about she wants that to be a legacy for her daughter. I mean, when she said that in her confessional, I was like, girl, bye. I mean, not saying that people are not making legit money off of that. Obviously, they are. It's legal in California and in a lot of the West Coast states, and people are making money off of that. But to sit here and say that's going to be your daughter's legacy, I don't know. I didn't, I didn't care for that because I was like, why can't you do some other business um, that could be a better um, legacy for your daughter? I mean, because at the end of the day, no matter how you see it, it's still drugs. Like, what I'm saying? So, but that's just me. Maybe I'm just old school child. I don't know. So then Tia calls out Jossie for her filters and her pictures. So she was like, last time we sat down to eat, when we sitting down at the table, when we were having a conversation, Tia says, you commented about me using filters, and she said, but I went through your Instagram or your page, your pictures, and I saw that you use filters as well. And so she kind of seemed like she was a little bit offended that she brought up the filters, which is, I'm telling you, like they all use filters, and they're not the only ones. Okay, they're not the only ones. And so Jossie, got a little bit offended. She tried to defend herself, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. They all use filters. I mean, they're not the only ones. The Kardashians, like I said earlier, everybody uses them. And then, so they bring up uh, the incident, I guess, when the restaurant owner, Mr. Sunshine, had came over there to take pictures with the girls. He was dancing with the girls, and they took pictures with him. And Tia says something about, she said to Jossie, that her fiance has competition, meaning that the older man from the restaurant was kind of crushing on Jossie. And so she said that it looked like he had a competition. So Jossie did not like that. She snapped. Okay. It was like she got possessed by the devil or something. The way she went off on Tia and had the fork in her hand and was swinging the fork, like I don't know, like she just like snapped and went off on Tia, and I was just like, girl, it's not even that serious. Like, what are you yelling over here for? Because at the end of the day, even if the little man had a crush on her, it wasn't like she was gonna ever see him again. It wasn't like she was gonna take him back to Maryland. And I feel like Tia was joking anyway. She wasn't being serious, but she got so offended and triggered, and then like Giselle said in her confessional, she probably was triggered because her man has been known to cheat and has cheated on her in the past, and she's had so many heartbreaks that in a way it was like even though it was the other way around, she was saying that he had competition because he was, in her words, how they use the word in England, fancying her. She didn't like that, and she was offended. It's okay to be offended, but to snap the way she did and to kind of like act like you're possessed or something in that moment, I bet that I felt like that was too far. And Jossie took it too far. It wasn't that serious, honey. It was not that serious. And then Kay, in her confessional, she said that Mr. Sunshine looked like, he was friendly, but she said he has two teeth and two dreads. When she said that, I was cracking up. I was cracking up. And then Giselle said that Jossie shouldn't be coming at Tia with that fork the way she did. I agree. She was doing too much. It wasn't. I don't know if her producer told her like she's gonna bring this up and I'm gonna need you to snap. And I don't know if she did that for the camera, but I really didn't appreciate that. But I like how Tia was like cool and collected, and didn't even, you know. I mean, she did was like, wow, okay, like you're doing all that for real, but. Uh. So next, they're on their way to the villa. So when they were on their way back to the villa, Stacy, in her confessional was telling us that there were no cameras and the mics, they weren't mic'd up. And so, but she could hear Angel and Jossie talking about somebody. They were on these like golf carts. I guess that, they had to take that back to get on the yacht. And so she said she can hear Angel and Stacy talking about someone or something. And then they showed them talking, and they showed Angel looking like she was mad about something, pointing to the phone, kind of like going off or whatever. So then that was that scene. But the cameras weren't rolling though. So next you have Wendy and Stacy trying to figure out what the girls were talking about because it wasn't like part of the show. You know how they flash back, they show you the producer's cam or one of the people's cell phones, stuff like that. It was like that. And um, so they're all in their villas in their room getting ready for the slut party. So they're having Jossie's I can't even talk again. Bachelorette party. And I get tongue twisted, guys. If you're new to this channel, you will find out because it seems like every video I upload, I'm always like getting tongue twisted. I can't say certain words. I can't pronounce certain words. I'm struggling. So forgive me. Just laugh, okay? Just laugh. That's my comedy. Uh, so let's see. So anyway, so they should Stacy and Wendy. They're getting ready. Stacy looked like a boring. I don't know what she's trying like. European. I don't know. She's German outfit she was trying to wear. It looked boring. It didn't give slut, so it was still conservative and boring and stiff. Cause Stacy's really stiff. Like she real stiff. And then Wendy was given. I liked it, but it was okay. Um, Giselle looked okay. I didn't like the stupid little hat that she had, but I guess it went with the theme that she was trying to do. Tia had full clothes on. Okay, Tia had clothes on from top to bottom. Her hand, I mean, she might as well have just gone ahead in there, worn a hijab. She should have worn a hijab and then the long thing that goes with the hijab. I forgot what it's called. She might as well just gone in there dressed like a Muslim woman. Okay, with the hijab and everything because she had clothes on from head to toe. Her arms were covered. Everything was covered. Ain't wasn't nothing about her slutty, honey. She was not dressed like a slut at all. Very conservative, very covered up. Um, but it still looked cute. She still looked cute. And then Ashley was a hot mess. I did not like Ashley's outfit. Ashley was a hot mess. Um, Kay was okay. Angel, I didn't like hers. She looked boring, and Stacy looked stiff. So then they're doing like their little freaky thing. Oh gosh! So they're doing like their little freaky thing on Jossie, taking whips and whipping her and doing lap dance and whatever. And then Ashley, with her nasty ass, is gonna get up there with a chocolate pen. She writes like a D on her chest. I guess D is her man's initial, his first initial, and she starts licking her and pretty much like damn near dry humping her. I think Ashley's bisexual, if I'm not mistaken, but she was doing too much, being very nasty and freaky. And then Stacy was like covering her eyes, and I'm like, I'm with you, Stacy, okay, because I'm covering my eyes too. And then Stacy gets up with her. She's tall, stiff, and she's shaped like a pencil. Like she Stacy don't have no hips, honey. Ain't no hips. Like how she carry that baby with no hips? She has no hips. But but I'm not body shaming her. That's just my opinion. But I mean, she's still a beautiful woman. She's still beautiful, but she's just stiff as hell. So she's like, I want you to bend over so I can spank you too. And she goes over there and gives the stiffness. Like she's, oh my God, I was laughing so hard. She's standing up straight and just like, and and it was just so stiff with like no spice to it. Like she didn't like shimmy or move or do anything, child. I was like, she is, bless her heart. Like they say in the South, bless her heart because she is so stiff. So then, oh God, so then it's Angel's turn. So Angel goes over there, grabs the handcuffs. She handcuffs Jossie, saying she was gonna handcuff her because she has a big mouth. Not because of her man, but she has a big mouth. Pretty much saying because she talked too damn much. So then, Giselle, of course, Giselle, she gonna move the storyline around. Giselle is she's the mover or shaker of the show. She's the boss. Okay, she's the head bitch. Okay, so Giselle was like, did she have a big mouth because she talked or she said something, or she have a big mouth because of the man? Like, what's tea? And then Angel tells everybody that she talked to somebody that um um that what's her name, that Jossie had went to try to find some information on Angel, and I guess she talked to other football girlfriends and wives, and somebody had told her that Angel was nasty. She said she found out that Angel was mean and nasty, and then Angel spills her own tea, and Angel says, the background tea is that um, some girl had went around and was telling Bobby's agent, his managers, and coach and stuff like that, staff members, that Angel had stole like $30,000 from Bobby and that she trapped him by getting pregnant. Apparently, that's what this girl was telling Jossie, and then she was telling Jossie that Angel's pretty much mean and nasty, and so apparently, so Jossie told her that, but she told her, they were having their private conversation. Remember when they were having a conversation when everybody was trying to figure out what they were saying, and they weren't mic'd up, and it wasn't part of the show. So that's the conversation that they were having. So Giselle in her confessional was like, well, well, not in a confessional. She asked her, well, how long ago was this? She was like, this is 2016. And Giselle was like, okay, that's old. Who cares? Like, nobody cares. That was a long time ago. And Giselle and Ashley are telling her, the good thing about it is that Jossie told you that in private. She didn't tell you. She didn't tell you that in front of us. And then Ashley's like, it doesn't even matter if she stole the money in her confessional. Ashley's saying this. Doesn't matter if she stole the money because Bobby still married her. Now, Angel does come off like she's mean. She does have a nasty, nice nasty. she does have that demeanor, like a nice nasty attitude, and she does come off. Yeah, she does come off that way. So I could see her being mean, but then she also has a sweet side to her too, from, from what I could see. I mean, I don't know her. From what I could see, and I feel like she cannot handle being on the hot seat. Like she has to understand that this is just a reality show and it's supposed to be your real life. However, half of these shows be halfway script, and a lot of these girls, that each person has like their own producer, so they have conversations or what's supposed to be said or what the other person's going to say and how you need to reply, you know. So Kay and Angel, by them being new, they don't know how to they don't know how to handle these girls, and you can tell that they're new, and you can tell that they don't know how to handle it because Ashley, Giselle, and Wendy be like running circles around these girls. So I need Angel to grow thicker skin, and Kay needs to throw thicker skin too, and they just need to learn how to handle these girls, just like Stacy did. Like Stacy knows how to handle them. She don't pay them bitches no mind at all, and that's how they need to be. And and her worrying about what this girl's saying, I agree with Giselle. That was so long ago. Who cares? Like you married to him, you have two children. That's water under the bridge. She shouldn't be tripping. But you can tell she's young, and you can tell that there's a lot of growth that needs to happen. So then she gets upset. Angel gets upset. So she's like, okay, I'm tired, so I'm leaving. So she leaves because she's saying she's tired, but she's really not tired. She's tired of their bullshit. But so she goes outside and calls her husband. And then Kay and Giselle, they come to check on her. And Giselle's like, you can tell Giselle like trying to keep her distance. Like she checked on her, but she was kind of like trying to give her space. But Kay was like, are you sure you're okay? Are you okay? And she's like, no, I'm fine. I'm talking to my husband. And but I kind of felt like, okay, Kay, she told you already like 5 times that she's okay. Just let her be because she needs to grow up. Because she needs to grow up. So you need to just go ahead and let her be, let her cry, let her do whatever because she needs to grow thicker skin. And I've been saying that since a couple of episodes ago. Um, these girls are tough girls. Reality show. It's not even that serious. I feel like they're gonna dig up some crap on you and come at you. It could even be worse, and you gotta learn how to handle it. And if you can't handle it, then you need to leave the show. If you can't handle the heat, you need to get out the kitchen. So Giselle goes back into the room. She tells the girls that she's okay, that she's on the phone with her husband. She's upset. She seems to be crying. And then Kay comes back in there and pretty much says the same thing. She's okay. She's just trying to process everything about really. I think she felt like Jossie was going behind her back, trying to get some dirt and some information on her to use on her on the show. And it's probably true. That's probably what Joss was doing, trying to dig up some dirt. So in a way, but then in a way, you can't be mad about that because that's the fucking show. That's what they do. They all do that, and they all do it to each other. They go and dig up dirt on each other, and they use it against each other on the show. That's what they do. So yes, that she was doing that. Yes, she was being nasty and backstabbing, but that's the show. So you're gonna have to like next year if you come back on the show, Angela. Unfortunately, that's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to dig some dirt on the rest of them and come with the BS because that's what it is. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to leave the show. So then Wendy, of course, she chimes in. She says that Jossie did her a solid by not saying anything in front of the group. Wendy says in her confessional that Angel pretty much is a crybaby, that she needs to man up or go home, and she's always having a pity party, and she's always saying that, you know, that she's being attacked, that someone is always coming for her, and that she's always being attacked. Then if that's how she's going to be, then she needs to just go ahead and go home. And I can understand what Wendy's saying. I agree with Wendy. Like she is a crybaby. She is like she needs, I've already said it, I'm not gonna keep repeating myself. Like, she really, if she wants to stay on the show, she's gonna have to grow some balls and some thicker skin. Otherwise, next season, don't come back. Don't be coming back here on our TV screens, crying and hollering and screaming if you can't handle it. We'd rather see someone else. So then they go back and show Angel. Angel's still outside on the phone with her husband, and she tells him that she can't wait to come home. And that was the end. That was the end of this episode. Episode was pretty short. Um, so if you watch this episode, drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and opinion. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And I thank you for stopping by, doing this commentary, and watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye. Take care.